Hello, I'm Sarah Thompson, and welcome to Close Up. Today we're joined by Fire Chief Dennis Jenkerson. He's here to share with us some very useful fire prevention safety tips, and just in general talking about you have never a dull moment with the St. Louis Fire Department. So we're going to talk tips and kind of just what's going on in general, what your sort of landscape is right now. But tragically, let's set the stage. We have a space heater here to remind people these things are useful, but also dangerous.
Very
and
dangerous.
What's kind of happened the past several weeks?
Well, over the past, 5 weeks, we've had 5 to, now 6 fire deaths in the area, city and county. Of the 6 fire deaths, they were all related to portable space heaters, our secondary heating sources. People are using these devices to augment their primary heating devices in homes. They don't want to pay the utility bills. Either that or the primary utility's been shut off for whatever reason. So they turn to a secondary heating source, normally electric. And normally what happens, they leave them unattended. They leave them in a room, it's too close to a piece of furniture, a young child comes by maybe or throws something on it, gets tipped over, and we have a fire. Even more unfortunately, in the past couple of weeks, most of these fire deaths were young children. And it just, it gets at your heart after a while when you see it over and over and over. And the fire department, we come out, we'll help the people, we'll provide smoke detectors, we'll talk to them about what type of heating sources you should use. We'll provide them with phone numbers to people that will help them with their heating bills. So it's a very unfortunate happening, and it doesn't have to happen.
So with space heaters, I mean, they're on the market. People have to use them. We were talking about this earlier. This actually sits by my desk, actually, and just to keep my feet warm during winter months. The heat's on, but still for that extra warmth. What should we know then about the do's and don'ts? When you leave, turn it off, unplug it. Don't use it at all. Are you saying you don't recommend these at all?
Well, you have to follow the recommendations, the instructions that come with the product. Keep at least, most of the instructions say 3 foot around it. Nothing should be within 3 foot of it. If you leave, turn it off. Never leave it unattended in a room. Don't leave it in a room just to heat the room. Don't plug it into a extension cord or into a power strip. It must be plugged directly into the wall because some of the cords aren't made to handle the amps that's being drawn through it. So you really have to follow the recommended instructions that come with it. Use it as a secondary heating source, not your primary. That's what it's for. You a quick warm up. You want to warm up your legs, warm up your hands. Turn it off when you're done. It's just,
you mentioned with the smoke detectors. Now, this is important. One, to always have smoke detectors in your building, in your home. How frequently should we be changing them, and how can we utilize the fire department for that?
Well, the fire department this weekend, we just got finished with one of our blitzes. We hold 2 big blitzes every year, and it's always when you change your clock, change your battery for daylight savings, which we just did. We put in about 500 smoke detectors this weekend in the city of St. Louis with the help of the Red Cross and some students from Harris-Stowe State University, which helped us, so that was kind of interesting. Check your smoke detectors every month. Every month you should check them just to make sure they're working. It's a device that does save lives, and we know it does. Last year we lost about 500 children in the United States. Of those 500 that died, 80% of those did not have working smoke detectors. What we're finding now, because they've changed the batteries in a lot of the smoke detectors, that people take the batteries out when the battery's going low and it's starting to chirp at them, and it annoys them, or they're cooking and their cooking sets it off. So rather than clear it out, they just pull the battery out, leave the battery, and forget about it.
I have to admit that because with children, it's like you put down your child for a nap and it's beeping, and it can be difficult. But you have to have them.
You've got to have them. You should have one on every level of your house, and you should actually have one inside every bedroom.
So I was mentioning the landscape of the fire department. No day is the same for you. But I mean, generally speaking, I mean, what do you want people to know from like a public service standpoint? Day in, day out, the fire department's out there putting out fires, helping on the prevention side. But what are some of the things that you're dealing with on a day-to-day basis, the department is, that you want the public to know that we can go to you for, or just in general, what your kind of, again, this sort of day-to-day is for you?
Well, when the fire department has to respond to your house for a fire, that's the last thing we want to do. We failed. The primary focus of the fire department is prevention and education. So if anybody has any questions with regards to fire prevention, exit drills in the home, where does you put smoke detectors, call us. We come out. And we come out 24/7. If your smoke detector's beeping at 3 o'clock in the morning, call us. We work a 24-hour shift. we'll be glad to come out. And we do it all the time. I mean, if something's wrong and it's malfunctioning, call us. We'll come out. If you need a new one, every truck has them. We'll put it in there. We'll put it in immediately, and we install them. So we're there for prevention, education, and that's what we do. That's our primary mission. You know, when our prevention and education doesn't meet the needs, sometimes we have some fires, and that's what we don't want to have. And we've seen fires go up over the last couple months.
What do you feel that people are overlooking with some of those fires? Those the ones that we've talked about, space heaters, and that's kind of, you know, we hear that each season, especially each winter. But what are some other things that come up that perhaps people are overlooking?
Well, the number one cause of fires in homes, cooking fires. And what happens? People get home from work, they're dealing with the kids, the children, they're trying to get dinner made, and they forget about what they're doing in the kitchen, and that's what starts most of the fires. So if you're cooking, stay in the room. You know, even if you set your smoke detector off, stay in the kitchen. If you have to, turn the gas off, turn the electric off.
Yeah.
But cooking fires is number one. And as the kids get busy, as the parents get busy, they'll start something on the stove and walk out. Yeah. We're seeing a lot of people distracted. They're starting to cook, and they get on these cell phones and start texting and forget about what they're doing. And then 5 minutes later, you got a kitchen fire going. So it's
every second counts. Being mindful.
You've got to pay attention to what you're doing. The second cause that we see a lot of is furnaces that aren't being maintained, and that's becoming a real issue. You know, 30 years ago, if you had a furnace issue, Laclede Gas would come out and check on it for you. Now that's on you. The homeowner has to check that. So I think some of the maintenance on the furnaces have gone down a little bit, and as a result, we're seeing a few more fires.
Okay, but what you're saying here today is that people can call the fire department for for answers to these questions.
Anytime. You don't have to call 911. You can call 533-3406, and we'll pick up. But, you know, if you're worried about something, a smoke detector, a CO detector, something doesn't smell right in the house, you smell smoke, call us. Okay. You know, that's what we're here for. That's what we do, and we're very good at it.
Well, thank you so much for being here. I know you're a busy person. We appreciate your time.
My pleasure.
All right. Well, thank you at home. Thank you, Guest Fire Chief Dennis Jenkerson, for sharing these safety tips with us, and thank you for tuning in to Close Up.